Potato slip is what we use in calling the stems we plant potatoes. Potatoes don't have seed, but from their stems, the plant in which they grow, we have their seed. Come with me, let's learn how to plant potatoes, what it entails, how to moisturize your soil, how to be able to harvest, and if you require the cost analysis, all these could be made available. Now, please subscribe and watch right up to the end to see the full analysis of this farming. Understanding how to work them in ridges, how you can intercrop them with vegetables, or how you could also intercrop them with maize, and understand the dynamics that you could start from half an acre right up to even 50 acre, due to the fact that there is no limitation in the duration of planting, and also it entails 90 days and you can be transplanting each ridges with time. Now, there is a difference between the beginning and understand these roots and how to pick them up, which you want to find out in this video. Understanding how it looks like after a month and how it looks like after 2 months. Look at the differences at the end. Look at this difference from 2 months to at least 3 weeks to one.
Those farming is really a simplified farming. Why? Because most often we plant it using just the roots, just the stem. It means there are no certain types of fruits like stems that we use in cassava or seeds we use in cocoyam, like seeds we use in yam. Here we just need to have things like the roots. For example, like what you can find here. If you just cut the beginning of this stem we find here and you're able to plant it elsewhere, and that is how you keep on expanding and expanding and expanding, and it is quite a very cheap farming. Why do I say cheap? Is because there is little or no cost involved in the buying of the stems or the roots in which you wish to plant. Now, to carry out this farm, there are certain things you must do in order for the farm to produce very well. If not, you might find some certain challenges that will not be favorable for you. Let's take an example. If you see this farm here behind me, if you look all right behind me, and if you are to look on the other side of the farm, you see that everywhere is already being covered. The behind side of the farm shows where we planted is already more than 2 months and it's well covered. So this is just less than a week. Have you seen? All this behind me is less than a week, and this farming must be done in an area where there is moist. That is, there's moisture, there's water, in order for it to enter and sink right down deep into the soil in order to increase productivity. Now, these are mostly crops which are planted for just 90 days. 90 days, that is 3 months at most. The first requirement you need to do is, after you must slash your farm, if you're using herbicides to spray, or you are just doing the normal farming, you will still need to slash, clear, spend and all that, but the expenditure here is less. Let's say all this farm you have seen, I've been showing you from the beginning right of this point, it is less than $100. It could even be less, depending if you are the owner of the farm, because one, you just need to have your 1 hectare of land. Once you have had your hectare of land, which most often it does not even reach up to $30 to have a hectare of land. So with a hectare of land, you get to slash. In Africa, we have family members. Invite 1 or 2 friends and your whole family meeting, and you get together. That was just an aside. Though you could see pay that they slash the farm for you and you apply herbicide. But often in farms of ridges now, here is the technique that they don't tell you. In ridges farm, they hardly pay for slashing and all that. Why? Because they take the soil and they cover the ground, the grass with it. They till the soil and they cover the ground with it, and it forms these ridges. It's not as if they are putting something under before. No, they just, as they are hoeing their farm or they are doing their plowing or they are tilling in whatsoever name you are calling it in your own country. You want to call it also, you are building ridges. Sometimes we even say bed. You cannot lie on it though. So you get to put in your, when the grass is there, you just get to till the corner of the farm. You till. Let me go a little bit behind to see like this one that is very new here. If you see like what is in front of me here, if actually there was grass, or there was little or no grass here by the way, but in a case where there's grass, you try and you till the soil to come this way, and the other one comes this way to cover and kill the grass. In fact, the grass turns into manure in order to nourish these sweet potatoes. And you can intercrop it with anything you want. Remember, if you're planting just one crop, you should know what you're targeting. In as much as you want to make enough money, but you also need to target what you can. Like for example, it's already season where people get to, how will I put it? People get to eat corn. Imagine neighbor left, neighbor right, east, center. Everybody is having corn, and you planted just potatoes. And when they harvest it, what will you do? You go and steal. No, you need to eat your own. So at some point, you need love to intercrop it with other products. Most often in Africa, mothers grew up, how will I put it? Most often in Africa, or here in our country, my mom grew us up in farm. It means our breakfast, lunch, dinner, even on public holidays, farm, Sundays, farm. So everything is about farm, and it has been one of the backbone in our lives, attaining all heights of education, being qualified in certain professions though. It gives you the opportunity. So, and farming also does not hinder you just to remain just as a farmer. You could easily farm and have another profession elsewhere. Means you're farming. Once it's farming season, you take your leave, you farm. Once you're done, you go back to work. And once you're coming back from work, everywhere is now time for harvest. Harvest, you can do it every weekend, every weekend, every weekend. So for those going into potatoes, know that you need just the roots in order to plant. See here, this is an example of a root, example of a root, example here, example, example. And see, the farm must be very neat. It must be sparkling. This our okra here. It's like ancients of days. You are waiting for it to germinate. At some point, you could even decide to plant like here, put vegetables on this side of the farm. In another 2 3 months, you should be able to eat vegetables now. So you're harvesting. At least potatoes is going with vegetables. So we are trying to intercrop all these various things. We'll analyze this course, and for you to be able to know which one you can do and which one you can't do. But in every circumstances, in every situation,